ठीक है, okay. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Scaling Vision podcast. I have a very special guest with me today. Probably everybody knows this man for over years and years together. Mr. Vilas Kale, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Samir.
It's been so many years you have been running entrepreneurs, multiple businesses, and you have multiple caveats over so many years. How would you describe yourself if you look back?
Oh my God.
Yes.
If I have to describe myself, it would be a person blessed with Guru Krupa, because there are. I'm a mediocre person, but Guru Krupa that I was able to do so many things. Everybody aspires to do many things in life, but I've been fortunate enough to be able to do a lot of those.
Yes.
And I've led according to me, a very wholesome, nice life so far. 75 years have been very, very enjoyable. Every life has its lows and ups and all that. But still, all in all, very nice.
I am going to take you on a reflections journey throughout this podcast, sir.
Okay.
But I want to start at the very beginning, let's start with your grandmother, Mrs. Anusayabai Kale.
Yeah.
I think she was the first female and the only female member of parliament from Nagpur till date.
Yeah.
How was she like, sir, growing up with her?
Well. She was a very strict lady, very kadak. And my grandfather was much more loving. And she passed away when I was just about 7 years old. But I do remember getting 2-3 thappads from her and things like that. But really very fortunate to have such illustrious grandparents. My grandfather was an industrialist, self-made man. He came from a very rich family. They were Saukars. Kales were Saukars of Nasik and Trambakeshwar. But he lost all the money, but he educated himself very well. So he was an engineer from the Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore. And then because of his technical prowess, he got a job with Tata Locomotive Company. Then he quit that. Tata Iron and Steel Company. He quit that and then started his own businesses. Went through very rough patch, but made it very good. And he was a person who was very committed to the freedom movement of India. So the choice was between him and his wife. So the wife said that you look after the financial health of the family. I will devote myself entirely to the freedom struggle.
Wow.
So she joined the freedom movement and she became a social worker, a politician and all that. And then she represented Nagpur in the first and second Lok Sabha. And so it's really wonderful to have had such great grandparents. And remember, my Aji, Anusayabai, came from a very illustrious background. Her father was an eminent lawyer, Sadatan Bhate of Belgaum. He was a contemporary of Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Swami Vivekanand stayed with him in Belgaum when he visited and all. So she kind of, brought in all that with her and in her. So that's what.
So I think right from the very early age in your household, sir, civic thinking and all these values may be very ingrained.
Yeah. You see, we were brought up in a culture where there was no discussion about religion, caste and things like that. Both my grandparents were irreligious. So, we had a Devghar, all right, but there was no such this thing. And so, we grew up not knowing our caste also. Till such time as you come to an age and you interact with society and then say, hey, tu bhi Brahman ka? All that kind of a thing. So that was much later in life. But our whole family atmosphere was very different.
Right, sir. Then a lot of things happened in your life, sir. And then I think you joined JCs at a very early age.
Yeah.
And then you represented at an international level at Scandinavia as the vice president.
You see, I joined JCs in 1971 in the youth club. Till then, my life was nothing much. Though I was traveling a bit once in a way. I was doing my painting. I used to do a little bit of theatre in school and all, but in college also. But in 71, I passed out of my MCom, and that year I thought I must do something, and so I went on a hitchhiking trip to Europe and Middle East. When we came back, we were heroes of Nagpur. We were in the papers. That 3 youngsters. I had taken my 2 younger cousins with me, and so we were there in the papers. And also JCs invited us for a talk. And typical JCs, they enrolled us as members. So that's how I joined JC's. But life has been so beautiful after that. I was exposed to so much of training in leadership skills and meeting so many people, making lifelong friends and all. So I went up the ladder that, that bug bit me. And so I went up to be the president of Nagpur JC's in 77, then Indian JC's national president in 1980. And I was assigned to Scandinavia as vice president in 81. And then I was in charge of Europe as executive vice president in 83. And that I couldn't, there was circumstances weren't very favorable, so I couldn't contest for the world presidentship. But I left it at that, but a very lovely career.
My God. But sir, times are very easier nowadays. Talking to people, sending your message across is very easy with all the social media now. In your time, how difficult or easy was it to motivate people without the means of all these medium?
No, you see, because these medias were not there,
right.
We learned the art of motivating people through letters, through phone calls, if necessary,
nice.
Personal visits and stuff like that.
But let's talk about that hitchhiking journey of yours.
Yeah.
I think you went across 106 countries?
Not during that trip.
Oh, that was different.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was, I think, if I remember correctly, we did 15 countries hitchhiking.
Right.
And, standing on the road and putting your thumb up and asking for a lift. It was a beautiful I wrote a book on it, that it was a happy, trusting world then. Because frankly, Samir, everywhere people were hospitable. They went out of their way to kind of, be nice to us. And so we came back very enriched and with a lot of confidence in humanity and goodness of people all across the world. So Middle East or Europe was so beautiful for us, and it was a lovely exposure and a great experience.
When did you write this book, sir?
Much later. Actually, I had written my diary. It was with me. But my nephew, my son, when they read that diary, they said, you must write a book. This is something very interesting, unusual. And now you see, it's very easy to tell people write a book, but it's a lot of effort.
It's very difficult.
And you write it and you edit it and then re-edit it and give it to. But I did that. After that first book, then everybody said that I've been traveling. And luckily, I married a girl, Neeta, who loves traveling. She doesn't care so much for jewelry and things like that, but yes, traveling. So both of us traveled a lot. And so after I did my 106 countries, I wrote a book, Come See the World With Me.
Right.
And in that I've included my paintings also, which I did watercolors on the spot, some later after coming back, etc.
What would you tell anybody, any young person who's probably watching this right now, who wants to travel the world? What do you learn? What experience do you gain?
I can't tell you what a rich experience it is. What a fantastic experience is. First of all, the world is very beautiful. There are so many beautiful places, then different cultures. And Samir, I'm a vegetarian. And within the limitations of my being a vegetarian, I've explored all kinds of cuisines abroad. And people, when I go and honestly tell them that, look, I eat no fish, no mutton, no chicken, no eggs also, they look at me first with a little surprise that what does this fellow live on? But later on, they make for me something very nice, which is a local cuisine. Right. So basically, traveling is an extremely enriching experience of life. And one shouldn't miss it. Doesn't matter if you go to Pachmadi also. But don't do the typical thing that check into a hotel and kind of, there are people who don't see the country, don't meet the people, don't intermingle with the local cultures. No, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to get into the whole scene, understand how life goes on with them. So I would tell them that grab every opportunity which comes your way, but travel.
Nice. You have then ventured into business of automobiles, sir.
Yeah, actually I joined our family business. The thing was, I was studying for my BCom Part 1 and it was a morning college, Dhanwa International College. So afternoons was free and I used to get a pocket money in those days because my grandfather had the culture that the moment you join college, you get, so 100 rupees in 1966 was a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And I didn't know what to do. So every day was some movies and Cafe Vrindavan or the Shanti Bhavan and all those kind of things. He saw me whiling my time and he said, look, you're wasting your time. There is a vacancy in our office of an accountant. You're doing your BCom. So you come and join the office. I'll give you extra pocket money. So I joined business actually at the age of 16 only. 15, 16. But at full time I got in 1969.
Okay.
And automobile was the business of the family. So my grandfather had set up Provincial Automobile Company, which was Mahindra's and Hindustan Motors, and Jaika Motors, which was for Tata's. So I was working in business from then. And we carried on. But, there was that thing in me that I wanted to do something on my own and all.
Right.
Grandfather passed away in 68, and before that he had once said that I couldn't get into manufacturing, but the day you guys do, wherever I am, I'll bless you. So that kida was there. And so when in 77 I went on the Rotary Exchange, group exchange study to USA, there were a lot of people who were asking me about Ayurveda and natural herbal remedies, etc. So I came back with that thing in me that why don't I get into a business which is export oriented and which will bring out the best of Ayurvedic products. Then I zeroed in on skin and hair care only, not internal medicine, because that's difficult. And also that's how Puma Ayurvedic Herbal was my first venture. Before that, my story in businesses has been how not to do business also. I can be a great teacher because I failed in quite a few of them and lost money. But God's grace, I sailed through. So Puma started then in 1982. And later on, I sold the brand to Baidyanath's. And my son then took it forward. And so Sadatan Ayurveda is what is currently the format of that business. So that was one very satisfying experience. Then I wanted to do something for culture and art. So I started a resort which was based on Maharashtrian theme called Kille Kolar.
Oh my God. I mean, you don't know, so many times my parents used to take me, it's a long drive. Then it used to be a long drive outside the
14
city.
kilometers.
And that used to be a very enriching experience. I was probably in my 5th, 6th, 7th standard during that time. And I cannot tell you, the food was great, the concept, the theme.
I enjoyed creating.
Oh my God, I have great memories of that place.
Nitin Gadkari hosted a birthday party for Gopinath Munde at Kille Kolar. And so Munde, and he introduced me, Nitin, that he's the one who's done this. He says, I've passed this way so many times, but मला हा किल्ला माहिती नव्हता इथे आहे. I said it wasn't there, I created it. It was so authentic in its...
But what happened to it later?
You see, what happened is this is a tough business, especially the food part of it. And I tried running it, I found it very tough. So I gave it to a contractor. The contractor cheated, in terms of taxes. He didn't pay his taxes and all. And the law is very funny that even if you have a contractor, the owner gets sued.
Okay.
So I was kind of, sued for evading the excise duties and taxes of Maharashtra. He got the liquor from Madhya Pradesh and all that. So I got a good offer and I just palmed it off.
Yeah, why not?
No, it's too tough a business. And I don't want to go behind bars for something which I have not done.
You said, I want to take you back to, you said you have done a lot of businesses before and you failed. I was reading this book about from Jeff Bezos, where he mentions concept of fail fast. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity to arise. Keep on trying something. You're going to fail. Every failure is going to give you something to learn. And so the faster you fail, the faster you succeed in life.
Yeah.
So that's a very nice concept.
Oh yes, and Swami Vivekananda said that failures are the biggest teachers in life.
Right.
Success goes to your head.
Yes.
And you think I did it. But failures tell you that introspect, buddy. Don't start blaming everyone else for your failure. Look within. So it's a great learner.
Right.
Yeah.
You've also entered the retail space, na? Tanishq.
So we got this opportunity of jewelry franchisee. So naturally we freaked out first because they offered us because we have the premises that we had. And we told them we don't know a damn thing about this business. So Titan was very nice. Titan company, who are the owners of Tanishq, they said that we will guide you through, we will help and we will be there with you, etc. And we guarantee you that you will make so much of money in the year. If you don't, we will pay you and all that. So with that kind of an assurance, we got into Tanishq in 2001. And well, it's doing well, God's grace.
And a new branch is coming up.
Yeah, so we now have 2 Tanishq stores in Nagpur. We are shifting the Shraddhanandpet to Lakshmi Nagar location, a larger, bigger format store.
Right.
And we have one in Kingsway and 2 Mia stores.
Right.
Mia is the fashion jewelry of Tanishq.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh, how, was it difficult pivoting businesses then? Because it's easier now, startup has become a thing. How difficult was it changing businesses?
See, there is no such thing as easy in business, Samir. With the kind of, basically, it's competitive. All the businesses are very, very competitive. You have to have excellent HR practices because if you want to retain good staff, you have to take care of them.
Obviously.
And you can't just look at them as, they're a major resource in retail businesses, especially in which we are. And also that is a very important, and it's very challenging because we get a lot of youngsters who are, 100 rupees more somewhere and they'll migrate and stuff like that. So that's there. Customer satisfaction is very important because these days customers are, they have a lot of choice. So if you don't give the service quality that they expect, then you
They'll
are out
go
of
away,
the scene.
right? Very true.
So in those days also it was the same story. In now also it is the same story. Now only thing is that has happened is communications have become faster. In the good old days, that was a major challenge.
Right. I want to talk to you about this play you wrote, Big Gaya, Nagpur, Kishto pe.
As I told you, I used to dabble in theatrics and all kinds of. So when I joined JCs, we got a lot of opportunity to create some plays and some topical. At that point in time, there was this. I was a part of that movement where we used to keep on complaining. Ki Nagpur has been totally ignored. I was a part of the Vidarbha Statutory Development Initial Committee, which was discussing the backlog, and Dandekar Committee and stuff like that. So then this idea came to my mind that why not expose these people कि इन्होंने नागपुर को किश्तों पे बेच दिया. So we created a topical tamasha and it was very well appreciated. And when Nitin Gadkari became the minister, he told me कि Vilas, please to play Pune नको करो. Now I am there in the government, so we'll see to it that Nagpur develops.
Right. But since you have been a part of this, what is the role of art in social language and religion activism?
Oh Lord, through art you can communicate very effectively. Some things if I lecture about and if I show you on the stage or kind of put it up for you in a very nice way which will engage you, the effect is far, far superior. Very effective.
Very true.
So art has a major role to play, whether it is performing art or whether you've expressed it through painting or poetry or whatever. But I find that art has a major role to play in social activism, and it should be so.
I want to take you on this question of spirituality. Is art as a form of spiritual expression itself?
I think so.
Because you paint a lot, you said.
I tell you what. Like my spiritual journey started with, first was of course from childhood, it was Gajanan Maharaj Shegaon. And it was always a give and take thing that I want this, I want that, please give me good marks in my paper, I haven't studied well and stuff like that. Then I migrated to Swami Vivekananda. And that kind of, took away all the superstition within. And I began not fearing God, but kind of loving the whole idea. And love is, I think, the natural expression of spirituality. Because you get over all kinds of prejudices, hatred, because everything is God's creation and God is in everyone kind of a thing. So that approach broadens your outlook. And art expresses that in a very beautiful way. There are people who bring out the pathos of life through art more,
Right.
but there is also the love that is so beautifully expressed in nature, in people, in relationships. So which all this can be explored both through art and spirituality.
Bhimsen Joshi was at your place.
Yeah, he was my father's friend. He used to stay with us.
What was that experience like?
Well, I was too young, Samir. I was just about 15, 16. And Bhimsen Joshi used to get talaf of singing. Guru sa mood zala is what my father used to say. And so 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, in that age of 16, you're woken up that audience ki jarurat hai, and you better come and sit there. So that was initial. But he was a very nice man when he was not drunk. He used to drink very heavily in those days. So, what happened is that we used to, I hadn't developed the appreciation of Indian classical music so much. But what he sang and all was very powerful, beautiful. And so we used to enjoy, and he was very friendly and very nice as a gentleman. But the moment he drank, then he became uncontrollable and all that. So it was a nuisance for my mother because 15, 20 people hanging around till 2 and 3 in the morning and singing away and the mahfil and drinking going on and all. So my grandfather requested him that please can you stop staying with us because my daughter-in-law suffers a lot. So that was it. Then many years later I met him when he had become a santa. Absolutely, he'd given up drinking. He was looking very pious. So he asked me, I said, Kaka olokla ka? Me Vilas Kale. Chotu ka Bachchu. My elder brother was called Bachchu and I was called Chotu. So I said Chotu. Kasai beta vagare and all. So
that's fine. I mean, I don't think he would ever hold that against.
No. He also understood.
Yes.
Yeah. But my God, the kind of mahfils that were held at our home, people who understood used to go gaga. That he would, and I remember one story, Samir, very interesting. He had agreed that for my elder brother's engagement, he would come down to Nagpur and give a mahfil at our home. And that day he boozed himself to glory from 4 in the afternoon or something like that. And he didn't sing that night. He couldn't. I mean, he was so drunk. So he told my father, he says, I'm very sorry for this. Tomorrow, I promise you, please invite all your friends who love music and I will sing. And that was amazing. It started at around 8:30 or so and went on till 2 in the morning.
He was singing for so many hours
So
straight.
many hours, and people were giving farmaish after farmaish, and he ended it up with Jo Baje Hari Ko Sada.
Wow.
So he Paramapad Pavega.
Wow. I mean,
it was, yeah.
Let's talk about the VED Council, sir. I think when it was formed, you were the founding secretary.
Yes.
For anybody who's watching this, I want you to explain first what is the VED Council.
See, I tell you what, VED happened because in that point of time, we were only complaining that the government is doing nothing for Vidarbha, Vidarbha is being neglected and all. So Govind Daga, my friend, came up with this idea that instead of complaining here, why don't we all come together and do something for our region? After all, this region has given us the quality of life we are leading. We live here, we are going to die here. So may as well do something for the region ourselves. I loved that idea and we said, okay, so we kind of put together and we said, okay, let's be a political organization, which means we will work with all kinds of politicians and all that. And we will not pursue the members' agenda, but work for macroeconomics.
Right.
So we started with a brainstorming on what are those opportunities which Vidarbha should explore for a rapid economic development. Mihan was one of the first ideas that came to VED. And luckily for us, Nitin Gadkari had become the guardian minister around that time, 95, 96. So we told him this, he took it up and it snowballed. It is what it is.
What is
So VED basically is for economic development of Vidarbha, exploring all possible opportunities and pursuing certain key thrust areas. So what do? We study the opportunity. Then we look at the universal, worldwide, what is being done. I mean, supposing I had coal mines in my country and I was the, how many things can I do with it? So wherever policy intervention is needed, we lobby with the government. That you need to kind of, change these policies. They are obstructing the development of this. The other thing is try and attract investments in those sectors and create more jobs. So Vidarbha, as we know, even today, industrially, we are still backward.
Very backward.
Services sector, we are okay. I mean, coping up slightly. So all those things, and then we explored IT. So for me, it has been an extremely stimulating experience. All these years of VED, I was 4 years secretary. Then I took over as president, and 12 years, there was nobody ready to become the president. So I continued for 12 years and all, but it was very enriching. Where do I get an opportunity to know about oranges, cotton, Vaigaon haldi, Bhivapur mirchi, mining, and all these sectors, so we got to study them, new knowledge, new information, meeting people who were experts in these areas. So it has been fantastic. And even today, our current president is Reena Sinha, and she's doing a very good job.
I'll just pick your brain. a little bit. So that's a fantastic concept that what you all are doing. But I want to discuss, why is the pace of development so slow? Is it because of the bureaucracy? I mean, I remember Mihan was conceived I remember it was conceived way early, but the pace of growth has been very slow.
Yeah.
Why is that happening, sir?
See, I tell you what, Mihan was going on full steam, and then our own leaders, our own politicians, I won't name them,
Sure.
but for selfish interests,
Okay.
they put spokes in the whole thing. The airport was supposed to have been transferred, it was not transferred. So we filed a PIL in the courts asking the government to live to its commitment and transfer the airport. The PIL dragged on for 5 years. Simultaneously, Lam Brothers happened and the economy got stuck. The other thing is, the government of Maharashtra, after Vilasrao Deshmukh, for years together, they had a person who was semi-interested as the CMD of managing director of MADC, which is the parent company for Mihan. And also he would sit in Mumbai. The project is in Nagpur. The people who were involved in the marketing weren't. So a lot of, I would say the reason, one is our own people. You remember that women tonsuring their heads and in protest, our land is going and all. I went and met them and they said they bhuke mar rahe and all that. I got Shastri Agarbatti people to come and give those women, Agarbatti rolling things so they won't go hungry. Would you believe it was all bogus? It was just a stance to create hype, and it went into world papers. That land is being acquired and poor farmers are going to be deprived because of the project. And
That's
also
so wrong.
very, very bad. Politicians, local people and bureaucracy. All the three are responsible square. And it pains, my heart pains when I see that Mihan, which it should have been 20 years ago, a vibrant economic activity, is still not.
I mean, what I have seen is, after the inception of AIMS and IIM, there is a little bit of movement that is happening. But
But basically, you see, the whole idea was Mihan should be able to attract world-class industries,
exactly
manufacturing.
what was promised was not delivered. Right.
And because of all this negativity, some politicians bought lands only to make money by giving it to the government at a very high rate.
That everybody does, everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, but here the politicians were in power also. Na? So they thwarted.
But then now we are talking about developing Hingna and that side of the city. Are we going to see the same thing happening there as well, or let's hope for the best?
It's very difficult to say because, there again, whose stake is involved, who are the people behind it and all, it all depends on that. But if Mr. R.C. Sinha, who was the founding managing director, if he was given a free hand without, politicians pressurizing him for personal gains, for another 5 years, Mihan would have been a totally different story. मेरे को तो दिल से ये लगता है.
क्या बात है. Let's talk about Vidarbha 2030 as the VED's vision. Please explain it.
You see, the vision is that, number one, what is our priority? That we should create jobs.
Yeah.
Our engineers are still going out.
The brain drain is happening from Nagpur.
Yeah. And they have their families here. Their quality of life here is much better if they get a good job in Nagpur. So that is the first objective of it. Now, for doing that, we are looking at several sectors which have the potential to generate this kind of employment. So that whole vision is around this. When you say I have a vision, what is my vision for economic development? My boys, my girls who are educated here, who have their parents living here, should not be forced to migrate because jobs are not available.
Very true.
Yeah. So that is our basic objective.
I had Mrs. Reena Sinha on the podcast here, and she discussed that they're going to talk to people around the Vidarbha. Like if some region can provide nice metals, we'll talk about setting up manufacturing units about metals. If there is a good cloth industry somewhere, we'll just see if what we can do to accelerate it. That is what the plan is.
Value addition in mining.
Yeah.
Taking out minerals and sending them out is not the answer.
No.
Getting the minerals out and processing them here so that industry is based on that and create jobs.
But I think there is some change happening.
Oh yes.
I see a lot of people earlier a lot of people from Nagpur used to go to Pune, Bombay, Hyderabad, Bangalore. But now I'm thinking Nagpur is attracting आसपास का region का like Bandara, Hingan Ghat, all those areas. Now those students are coming to Nagpur for at least education.
In the recent times, we have seen announcements at least of big industries coming.
Yeah.
The moment that comes in, the ancillaries will develop. I remember, Samir, years ago when there was a strike at Telco in Bihar, Jamshedpur, Mr. Sumant Mulgakar, who was the chairman then, he decided to have a plant in Pimpri, Pune. And Telco shifted to Pimpri and the whole economy of that area transformed because the number of ancillary units that came and technocrats set up their small industries, which were ancillaries to these main business. So such was our expectation of Mihan. We thought Mihan will do that magic.
Yeah.
And because of the good industries that we attract here, we will be able to create multiple ancillary units and all that.
I was in
Khair,
Pune.
wo bus miss ho gayi, but I'm sure something will happen.
Yeah, I mean, when you speak about Pune, I was in Pune for 5 years, sir. Pimpri Chinchwad is now a very different, very organized part of the city. But the Pune city as a whole is a manufacturing hub also.
Yeah.
It's an IT hub also. It's an education hub also. Massive transformation has happened. Probably we thought Nagpur would go the same way.
I know.
Let's hope it happens.
I'm sure it will happen because now with Devendra as our Chief Minister, Nitin Gadkari as our Member Parliament from here and all, they're putting in their best efforts. And I think local people also should look at opportunities of, getting into joint ventures, thinking big. Initially what happened is our city, this is what Mr. Kirloskar I remember he had come and he had remarked that it's a very trading culture. People's mentality here is of traders and not industrialists as compared to Pune. And that has taken a lot. I mean, I think we lost 2 generations in people who set up industries thinking of it as a trading opportunity.
Oh, that's a very nice point actually.
Yeah. Because, they when you ask them what is the idea of this industry, they would very honestly say, अरे यार वो subsidies मिल रही, ये मिल रहा, वो मिल रहा है, कोटा मिल रहा है. So कोटा बेच देंगे, फलाना करेंगे, अपने पैसे निकाल लेंगे. No, that's not an industrialist approach.
Talking about family and the next generation, before we talk about the next generation, how has what sustained so many years of a marriage? Nowadays we see marriages falling apart left, right and center. I want you to tell people what sustains a marriage for so long.
How
many years has it been?
We are married 51 years now.
My God.
And, I think, marriage should not be a husband-wife kind of a thing, but more of friendship.
Friendship, yeah.
And in friendship, you give space to each other. You kind of, accept that, okay, this person cannot be exactly like what I want, and that person also should give you that space. So I think the key is to let the person be himself or herself, and yet find common areas of interests, explore those areas together, because and the children come and things like that, then you get involved with that also. But same time, you are also individuals. So as individuals, you must have your happiness. And so there are common areas which should be pursued. We are very fortunate. Kale's is a very big family. We are all financially independent, but our relationship is very good. Touch wood. And so we, at a drop of a hat, there are about 50 of us in the family who are together, and every Diwali, Dasera and celebrations are all on. So my family is now just me, Neeta and Rahul. Rahul, my son, hasn't married, and my daughter lives in Mumbai and all. But we are never just the 3. It's always
somebody or the other. Yeah. Passing the torch on to the next generation. What does it mean to you? Of what you have built?
Well, I'm a very positive person. So I don't look at, if as a father you kind of start evaluating your son and stuff like that, it's not the right way to do. Each one has his own personality. They blossom in their own way. So अपने से जो जमा अपन ने किया, आगे बच्चे करेंगे वो करेंगे. We wish them all the best.
But what does success look like as a parent and as a mentor? Because I'm sure you must have mentored a lot.
Success, according to me, is leading a good quality life. It's not the money. It's not the assets you've built or something like that. But are you within yourself happy, satisfied? Are you kind of, positive? Are you ready to help people? Do you show enough love and affection so that you get it in return? These, according to me, are more important parameters of success. And I hope my children, the younger generation, follows that, because that enriches life. So when you say a person is rich, it's not the bank balance. It is the kind of relationships he's kept. It is the kind of happiness which he has within him. Because unless you are happy, you can't make others happy.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So that's important.
This brings me to the spirituality part of it. The inner compass. How do you practice your spirituality?
See, I am, over the last almost since 1991, I am following the teachings of Bhagwan Sri Raman Maharshi. And his was a very basic approach was that who are you? Find out that within yourself. And so it's a very easy said thing and a very
difficult thing to do.
Because you have to cope with this mind, with all the prarabdha and the vasanas you have inherited and all. The quest is on. But believe me, you come to a level of deep satisfaction. And one of the most important learning has been say yes to everything. Because there are things that are happening and they will happen. So if you keep on kind of, rejecting them, getting upset about them and all, it's not going to help. Like the Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, has given a very important lesson that your circle of concern should be restricted to your circle of influence.
I have it somewhere here.
Yeah, it's a lovely book.
I know.
And that's an important learning. And so spirituality and that is very similar. Because, I mean, you may be my son, but look, you are born through me, biologically. But you are born to your own previous karma. You brought in your own personality with you. And all. So how can I expect that you will be exactly as I would have liked you to be? No, it's foolishness.
Yes.
So those kind of things are very important. And so I'm very happy, and I'm getting opportunities to translate books on Raman Maharshi from English to Marathi. So that is giving me further insight, deeper understanding. And also life is beautiful, Samir. Ekdam aanand mein hu.
But let me go a little deep. What do you think happens after death? Is there a rebirth, or are we done? I mean,
see, I tell you, logically, I think there has to be a rebirth. Because what is it? I was born. I don't know why I was born. Then as I started experiencing life, I realized that I have certain inner callings, certain inner attractions, certain rejections, this, that and the other. Where did it all come from? There must be some past to it. Because how can I be so different from my elder brother or my younger brother or my parents and all? So something is there in that. And so at the time of death, what exactly is happening? The body is dying physically. But my inner instrument, which you call Antakaran or you call it Sukshma Sharir or whatever, that carries on. And so as is said in Bhagavad Gita, Vasam se jirnani yatha vihaya. So you drop old clothes and you get new ones, and you will get the new ones as per your like. So I have a feeling there is a lot of logic in it. And death is of the body, which you die every night anyways in sleep. I am not conscious of the world, I am not conscious of my body, I am not conscious of my mind, and yet I am there. So that particular stage we experience every day. So death, when in terms of, it's just the body.
It is said quite a lot of times you should sit with yourself in silence.
It's very important.
No phones, no nothing.
Yeah, very important.
I have started practicing it nowadays. It's been hardly a month I've been doing it. I mean, I get up in the morning and 30 to 45 minutes, I'm just sitting at one place and quietly breathing. I'm finding solutions to things I never even knew I had problems to.
Okay.
And that's a very nice revelation that I'm experiencing nowadays. What do you feel about it?
Wonderful. Very nice. And keep at it. Because I tell you what, mind is one of the most frivolous instrument which we have. Unless it is yoked to meaningful pursuit, it can be a nuisance. You remember things which are so irrelevant. Thoughts come to you which are so, I mean, you yourself are shocked. What kind of thoughts are coming to me? I mean, all these kind of things. That's what mind is all about. So yoking the mind to something purposeful and meaningful takes us to the source of ourselves, which in spirituality we say the Atma, you call it pure consciousness or whatever. Now that brings up a very, very positive. So as we said earlier, the best expression of that is love. And so all the negativity within you goes and all. So do pursue it, Samir. Absolutely, I'm so happy you've come to it at this age. Carry it on. Your life will become very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Any regrets that you have in life looking back?
None at all. None at all.
Yeah, I could have done this differently.
No. I have no regrets. I have a lot of gratefulness for what I have got in life. No regrets.
What would you tell your 30-year-old self if you had a chance?
My 30-year-old self? Oh, that's a tough one, huh? What was I when I was 30? Well, I would say that I should have been more careful before jumping into ideas of businesses and done some homework properly. The main reason why I failed in 4 or 5 businesses is my homework was incomplete. I can't blame anyone. It was my stupidity. I never planned it properly, never ek idea aa gayi, kuch jao and all. And God's grace, I could do it and yet come out of it and carry on. So don't do that. I mean, I would tell myself that don't do this. Get into something, but after a proper homework and study.
What are you excited about the next thing? What are you doing next?
At the moment, I'm translating this book. So it's a 700-page book. So it's taking a lot of my time and energy. And after that, actually, honestly, now I feel excited. I do watercolors, but my watercolors aren't very good. So my next project and what I'm excited about is to go outdoors, do plein air watercolors, and I'm seeing the world class that is there. Learn from someone who's an expert and improve on that.
Nice. Just 5 minutes before I let you go. One book that has shaped your life.
Thoughts of Power. Swami Vivekananda's collection of thoughts. That was my, I can't forget that evening. What happened is, there was a Swamiji who was walking on the road in front of our provincial automobile company, and he came in and he said, do we have typist? He had a manuscript which he wanted typed. So I found him very impressive. He had that very powerful personality and all. And I was sitting there. I said, yeah, we had a pool of typists in those days. So I said, yes, we can do it. So gave that boy, and we sat. And he said, have you read Swami Vivekananda? I said, no, I find it very boring. I looked at that. I had gone to the exhibition and I said, I didn't find it. He said, no, it's not boring at all. It's very energizing, So why don't you, for starters, get this book called Thoughts of Power. It was available for 65 Naya Paise at the Sarvodaya bookstall at platform number 1 on railway station.
My God.
Our office was next door. So I sent my chaprasi, I said, just go and buy this book from there, and all. He got it. And I got that book in my hand, and Samir, I read it cover to cover. I was so transformed that I'll never forget that book.
Really? My God.
And of course, I love biographies and autobiographies. I'm not a fiction reader at all. So either it is this or it is spiritual and philosophical books. But that one small little thing, it's even now available.
I think it's time for me to read that book. One place you'd go back to from your travels.
Would love to go back to? One for sure is Peru.
Peru.
Beautiful. And I want to see more of it and enjoy it. And the other, Vietnam. I loved Vietnam. And even Laos next door. Very beautiful. There are lots here. Chhut jata hai. In one trip you can't see it all and you feel like going back. But Peru, the Andes and the entire landscape is something mystical. Very beautiful.
But I always tell Shweta ki whenever we get a chance to travel for a longer period of time, I would like to go to some place, a city, and just mingle with the local culture.
Yeah.
Not a very अभी कैसा travel is very पटकिन ही जागा बगा ती जागा बगा ती जागा बगा, click photos and go. You need time to absorb.
Yeah.
And I want to do that once in my life.
Yeah. And even now, when you go, just sit in the town square and mingle with the crowd. The fun that people are having and all. And I see tourists are very friendly.
But-
Once you start conversing, there's so much of exchange of ideas that happens.
Is it still a trusting place?
Yes, it is. It depends on you how you conduct yourself. Now, I'm not. Doesn't mean that it is everything is safe, but don't be stupid and
Obviously.
adventurous unnecessarily.
ठीक है. Thank you for being here.
Oh,
Do you
thank
want to
you.
add anything before you go?
Sorry.
Do you want to add anything before you go?
No, nothing. Just that I would only say that there is a very nice manache shlok. Sukhi rahata sarvahi sukha ahe. Ahanta tuji tuji shodhoni pahe. The biggest hurdle that comes for living a happy life is the ego and the inverted ego. So kind of if you are able to address that and question it, that instead of accepting it and being it yourself, life is full of happiness. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.